Hey guys, David here and welcome to the Fit Pro Daily. This week is a little bit different to usual as we're going to talk about systemizing your fitness business. In other words, how we can use systems and automations to make your life easier. And to start the week off, we've started with a guest interview. What we're going to do is we're going to invite Kellie Blondel on, and she's going to share with you the systems and strategies she implemented as a virtual assistant to help a fitness business get to six figures in just 1 year. But before we do dive into today's guest interview, if you're brand new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed yet, make sure you do click that big red button below to subscribe. That way you never miss any future episodes, and you can always check back on these previous episodes too. Anyway, let's dive straight into today's guest interview. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's special guest interview. Today we have Kellie on, and she's on to talk about how she helps support a business get to six figures in their first year. So I definitely think, I probably say this at the start of every episode, but I think this is a big podcast that a lot of people are going to pay a lot of attention to, because the stuff that you're probably going to talk about and cover is going to be key. And like for yourself, which we'll probably go into, key for the fitness industry, but also you've now taken these systems and steps and progresses into different industries, which we'll probably talk about in a minute. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. So we start off usually by finding out how you got started in the fitness industry, or were you in the fitness industry to begin?
I was not. So what it was, my fiance at the time had just qualified to be a personal trainer.
Okay.
And he didn't want to work he was working in a hotel, and he was earning like minimum wage, having to hop on reception and do all that kind of like stuff you don't want to be doing as a PT. So he wanted to work for himself. So he realized that in order to be able to do that with such a saturated market would be to get a business coach, get a mentor, and figure out how to kind of be seen more. But what he quickly realized when he did that is he didn't know how to implement any of the advice, because this is the thing, when you're taught how to do something specifically as a business owner, if you're a personal trainer or you're a yoga teacher or a nail technician, whatever it is, you're taught how to do that thing, but you're not taught necessarily how to run your business. So when the business coach was talking to him about funnels and lead magnets and automations, he was just like, don't know what you're talking about. And I'm a qualified business administrator, so I've been doing that for like 10 years. Yeah. So I just said to him, well, I'll do it because I get it. You know, it's not, to me, it makes sense. It's not difficult. So that's kind of how it all came to be.
Wow. Okay. And how did it go for him? How far did he manage to grow then?
Well, it scaled to six figures in the first year. We went to Japan for a mastermind with our business coach. We've got cookbooks on Amazon. We ended up getting our own juice made in a local juice bar. So yeah, he was pretty happy.
And you've taken these skills and these implements and systems and everything, and now you're doing it in a number of different industries, are you?
Yeah. And so I actually had a business coach come to me and say, I've been watching you. Can you help me? And I said, yeah. So I've kind of gone more towards the small business owners and business coaches, because there are other virtual assistants who specialize in fitness professionals who I can let you know if you want to know who they are or who it is. So she does that.
We might go into all this stuff later, but we just want to get to know you and how you've managed to, I don't know, become so successful, or how you've managed to help so many fit pros or other fitness businesses become so successful. Why do you think the strategies and steps that we'll talk about in a minute work so well across different types of industries then?
Because it's transferable, because it's just systemization. So it's just, time is money. So if you're spending a bunch of time emailing people out things or worrying about what content you're going to put out or anything like that, then you're wasting money that is billable hours for you.
Yeah.
So I think as well, what a lot of people do when they're starting out is they worry. They think, well, I can't give this to somebody else because that's my money and I need to keep that money. But if you think, if you could be earning £60 an hour, paying somebody 25 to do all of your back end stuff, it's worth it, because you're losing that £60 by doing that hour's work.
Nice.
Instead of actually you're making an extra 35 if you give it to somebody else. So it's about leveraging your time.
Perfect. Okay. So let's kind of go through the systems. And for somebody maybe just getting started in the fitness industry, then what kind of systems do you reckon they need? What, let's say that the 3 to 5 systems that they really need to get implemented right away to really hit the ground running?
Straight away, stop selling hours of your time. That is the first thing. What you need to be doing, or what you want to be doing, is selling results. So you need to say, if you want to drop a dress size, it's going to take this long and it's going to cost you this much. So you're not saying buy a block of 10 and hoping they'll sign up again. Because what will happen is you'll sell them the package, they'll get the result, and then they'll think, oh, well, I've still got another dress size I would like to lose, or there might still be some kind of more strength that I want to get to. So that's the first thing. First thing is stop selling your time. So in order to get people to be interested in the first place, you need to have a lead magnet. And the thing that I find for personal trainers is the simplest is a free transformation session. I mean, it's how simple is that? You can start doing that today. Put a post up saying, I'm looking for 10 people who want a free transformation session, absolutely free. Who wants one? That's it. Then use that last 15 minutes of that transformation session to sell them onto a package. They're feeling really good. They're feeling really pumped. They're excited. And then you say to them at the end, what's your goal? Oh, it's to lose dress size. Okay, well, judging by how we work together and, your measurements and etc., this is how long it's going to take. This is how much it's going to cost. You want to just sign up? And they usually do. So then you need to make sure that you've got then the automation going through to how you support them. And that's an individual thing. Some people like it all automated, so that that's it. The person just goes into their funnel and it's all, all the emails get sent out. Some people like to do it individually so that it's more kind of tailored to the person. So it really depends on what you want for that.
So automation, you're talking about when somebody pays to come onto your program and you've sold them onto a monthly program or a 6-week program, whatever you're selling them on. The automation is the weekly or daily emails to kind of give them tips and advice while they're with you in that process.
Yeah. What we did is we individually sent out, we had a template of copy, and we would just amend it and then manually send it out, which is fine to do if you've got an assistant or if you're quite happy to take the time to do that. But you can be in a CRM, in an email management system, where you just tag the person into an automation as soon as they pay and sign up, so that all those emails are just ready to go, get sent out. But it's hard to personalize that. So say you want to say, hey, such and such, thank you so much for signing up for the 12 weeks. So excited to get you started. In that time, I promise you, we will do X, Y, Z. You can't really do that in an automation, obviously, because it's personalized. So it depends how, again, it's about leveraging your time. Depends how important it is to have the personal touch. But that's up to you as a business owner, what you would pick.
Yeah, and what type of things would you put in this automation, this range of emails that are going to be sent then?
It depends how you do it. So if it's a 12-week and you send them, or you expect them to send you weekly check-ins, you might expect them to send you weekly photos or their measurements every week. It might be an automation just to say, hey, it's Friday evening, how are you getting on? Expect your measurements in on Saturday or whatever. And then you're not having to think, I need to chase up such and such, because they'll just be doing it. They'll just be prompted. So that's quite handy. And it's really good as well to get into the habit of making sure you're getting before and after photos or photos along the way, because you'll want them for your testimonials. So I would recommend doing that. You can also do a kind of nurture as you're going along, when you're getting towards the end of the package, where you're saying, how are you finding it? Is there anything I can help you with? That kind of the support side of it. You can make sure that all of that's scheduled, because then it's just it's just happening for you, and you know that you are really taking care of your client without actually having to think about it.
Yeah. Something that we do quite a lot of. We have the automation in place, and then we send, like you say, the manual stuff at the same time, whether that be a welcome card or just checking up. You've been with us 2 weeks now, or I noticed you were a bit down in that session the other day. How have you been getting on the stuff? So combining them both, I think, is what works well, what's worked well for us as we've been going.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this email system. What other type of systems or things we need to put in place that will support incoming clients? And
I think financial as well is quite important. Mostly, or more so for the personal trainer, the PT, because if you're letting people pay all over the place, then it's really hard to know what your projections are, when money's coming in, and it can be really stressful. And I think that goes back again to the selling time over selling packages.
Yeah.
So if you choose 2 dates in the month, so say for example you choose the 15th and the 28th, those are the only times that the people can pay. So when you sign them up to a new package, you either backdate it, or you would backdate it if they're not like right on the mark. So that way you know that on the 15th you have to check your accounts, on the 28th you have to check your accounts. Then if the person hasn't paid, then they get tagged, and then the email gets sent out saying, hey, just a friendly reminder, you haven't paid yet. So that's another good one.
Yeah, that's slightly different to what we do. We just have them pay in whatever dates they pay. So
I think it depends how you're doing it, because if you have Stripe or PayPal or something like that, that's easy enough because you're just setting it up. But because I'm based in Jersey, what we had a massive problem was Stripe doesn't recognize Jersey as like a place.
Same for
yeah, it was ridiculous. And PayPal wants to take a fee. So if you're happy with that, and to be quite honest, there's not a problem with that, because if it's getting money in the bank and it's saving you stress and hassle, then that's fine. But if you don't want them to take a fee and you just want people transferring into your bank account, straight into your bank account, then set the 2 dates so it's not coming in all over the place.
Yeah, I reckon having those two separate dates is quite a good one for especially somebody starting, or like a sole person who's doing all these jobs, because they're not having to do the banking every single day. Whereas like we've got a full-time staff member, that's basically their job, is to go through the payments, so they're always on top of it. But if you set those 2 payment dates, and how were you tagging them then? So if they haven't paid, was that just an automated email somehow, or was that connected up in a special way?
Because it was me doing all the support, I'm always going to advocate having a virtual assistant, because that's what I do. So I'm always going to say have a member of, have a team member who does all of that. But if you don't, then depending on what CRM you use, it's as simple as tagging the person in your CRM with the automation you've already written. So you write the automation and it says, hi, whoever, just to let you know, I've just checked the accounting and you haven't paid yet. There are reasons for this. It could be that your card, the nice stuff that you say instead of just saying you haven't paid. And then you just tag the person into that automation. Then as soon as it's done, you untag them.
Perfect. No, that's good. So we've gone through onboarding, or the follow-up series, to kind of support the clients. We've talked about financing and stuff, but we haven't really talked about what a virtual assistant actually is yet. Some people maybe watching this or listening have maybe heard the term before, or they're just thinking they've got to get somebody in full-time that works in the gym and works for them. What is a virtual assistant then?
So a virtual assistant is like everything. It's really hard to explain because everybody has their own the own things that they're really, really good at. But basically what it is it's your administrator, but they're working from home. So if you did have a gym, because a lot of PTs who start out don't have their own gym, obviously, so they'll be renting space. They wouldn't want a secretary or or an administrator stood behind them with a clipboard the whole time. So it is office support, but the person works from home. So they can do whatever you ask. And the good thing about it is they're not an employee. So you're not paying them holiday, you're not paying them benefits, you're not paying them, any of the local stuff that you would need to do. Like over here, our employers pay, I think, 6% towards our social security, and then and stuff like that. And they have to make sure that the tax is getting paid on our behalf, so all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to worry about that. We're freelancers, so you can just pay us, and that's it.
Perfect. Okay, so a VA is somebody that's going to help you with the admin side of the business. But what can you list a few things that if I was starting out and I was looking for some support in my fitness business with the admin, what type of jobs would I be given a VA to do?
So you might say to a VA that you want them to deal with the onboarding. So anytime you get a person signed up, they're making sure that they're getting all the emails to get them signed up. So you might have a Facebook group that all your new clients go into. You might actually want to have a call with the new client and say, this is how it works, blah, 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 blah. And your VA can do that. They can set up all of the systems for the payments and things like that. There are other people as well who are called OBMs, so online business managers. And they're more like project managers or strategy. So if you're struggling, if you don't know, if you come into it and you don't know, then I would suggest that you get online business manager instead, because they will tell you what you need to do. Whereas with a virtual assistant, you're telling them what they need to do. So OBMs are a bit more expensive, obviously, because it's a harder job.
That was kind of going to be the next question, is when you're taking a virtual assistant on, you expecting them to set all these things up and processes and map everything out, or would you have it all mapped out and given it to assistants so they can just follow on straight into it?
Yeah, like a virtual assistant will usually just do as you ask, whereas an OBM will come in and look at everything and see how they can make it better for you. But saying that, there are a lot of virtual assistants who are really, really good, and if you say to them that you're not quite sure how they can help you, then jump on a call with them and ask them, and you'll get a really good feel straight away if they know what they're talking about or if they don't. You just will. I mean, if you ask a question and they kind of go, it's the same with being a personal trainer. If you have a session with somebody and you say, and somebody says, I don't know, how do I lose belly fat? And you go, I don't know. It's kind of obvious that you don't really know what you're talking about. And it's the same with assistants. So definitely have a call with somebody.
So how do you go about finding a virtual assistant then? Is it something you just post on Facebook and see who's interested, or is there somewhere specific where you kind of fine tune what you're looking for?
I don't know. That is a difficult one, because I feel like it's obvious because I am one. So I see us everywhere. But yeah, I mean, it's really important to be in business groups, isn't it? When you're trying to kind of scale up, or you're trying to do some personal development. And there will be people in those groups who have virtual assistants or are virtual assistants who can recommend. But yeah, just ask, I reckon. Just ask. There are sites like Upwork or Fiverr. I wouldn't recommend them. I'd recommend actually finding like maybe one who specializes in fitness or one that you might have seen around, or one of your friends recommends, yeah, I'd stay away from kind of going towards those platforms. Yeah, they're just because it's quite nameless, which it's difficult, because if you go to those kind of platforms, you don't really have any guarantee that the person knows what they're doing, or it can be, and it's really time consuming as well to go through those platforms. So definitely ask
So
if
with this VA, then, would you recommend trying to find someone quite local so you can potentially meet up for a coffee, or somebody online where you can still do this kind of face-to-face chat, just so you can kind of get things rolling?
it's like the know, like, and trust thing. You know, it's the same. It's the same with why would somebody pick you as their personal trainer? It's how the person is presenting themselves online, and being a virtual assistant or being an OBM, they should have a really good online presence. So they should actually be quite easy to find. I would recommend more trying to find somebody in the right specialty than finding somebody local. I mean, I've got clients in America, so it doesn't. The point of it being virtual is that they can be anywhere. It's making sure you find the best person for the job.
Takes us on to the question then. How much should you be paying a virtual assistant?
It depends who you pick. I mean, if you there are virtual assistants in the Philippines who charge like $3 an hour or something like that. So it depends what tasks you've got. And it depends the value that you see in it. So most virtual assistants will be about £25 an hour. Then when you're looking at OBMs, it's going to be going from 25 up to probably about £100 an hour. So it's utilizing the right person. You might have an OBM just for a couple of strategy calls to get everything in place, to get everything in a report, how you can do things in the best possible way, and then hand over to a BA who costs less to actually implement it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then what about holding them accountable? Do you have like staff meetings or weekly meetings, or do you kind of just give them tasks, they take it off and they move on to the next thing?
Again, it depends what you want to do as a business owner, because one thing that I always say is, or actually really grates on me, is that it's your business. So if you have certain things you want to use and the VA can't or doesn't know how, find a different VA. I had a call with somebody recently who said that they've got 3 different VAs. They've got one who does like their social media design. They've got one who does their accounting. Fair enough if you want like a specific bookkeeper. And they've got one who does something else. And I said, why? And she said, oh, because my VA who does the social media design doesn't know how to use my email. So she said, if I wanted her to do my email as well, then I'd have to move from ActiveCampaign to MailChimp, because that's the only one she's used before.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, good that the client said, well, no, I'm going to find somebody else, because you shouldn't have to be changing things. But a VA who's worth their weight should just get on with it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need to be, because again, it's taking your time. If the point is that you're giving them tasks so that you're getting time back, if you have to spend an hour on a call with them every week, then it's taking your time again, which is not what you want. But if you want to have a call because you want to have a catch up, then that's up to you. You can absolutely ask for that. One of my clients I have an hour call with every week, but that's OBM, that's strategy. It's just, you shouldn't need a catch up to say, can you send this email? Can you schedule this? Can you schedule that? I mean, pretty straightforward stuff.
So how do you know when a right time to get or reach out and get some support or get a virtual assistant on board is?
I say straight from the beginning. But again, understand that people don't necessarily feel comfortable with that, because it's a stress, because that's really when you feel like your business is a business, isn't it? When you've got staff, or you've got like, it's not just you who you've got to pay, it's other people. I say straight from the beginning, but probably when you're getting to the point where your diary is getting full and you're working until 10 o'clock at night, and then you're up again at 6 o'clock in the morning for your actual clients, and you're just thinking, nah, because you will hit burnout. Because I suppose as well, the difficulty with personal trainers as well is everybody wants before work, after work, lunchtime, and then so you're back and forth for your, I found that with when we were running it, it was I felt really sorry for him, because it was like cycle to the gym, work 6 until about 9:30, cycle home, do some like development stuff for the business, cycle back for lunchtime, cycle back at dinner time, cycle back, and then doing, because you've got to factor in sales calls as well, obviously. So do you want to be working until 10 or 11 o'clock at night to get everything done? Probably not. I wouldn't want to, to be honest.
That makes all sense. So let's move on to the final bit then. We've covered how to find them, the pricing. We've not talked about what kind of tasks. I know when I got started, I was very unsure about what tasks, or feeling comfortable handing tasks over for other people to do. Do you just hand all the tasks over, just say, here's everything I need you to do, or do you just do a couple of things at a time so you get used to somebody else doing the work, not you?
No, I would test first. I would test them doing a lead magnet for me.
Yeah.
I would say, do you know what? Then they're not really getting into your business, and it's not that stressful for you. I would say, let's do a package. Let's do 4 hours. How much do you charge for 4 hours? In that 4 hours, I want you to design me a lead magnet. I will write the copy, because it's your business. You should write the copy. Make me a lead magnet. Show me how you do the automations. Show me how that would work. And if they know what they're doing, which they should know what they're doing, then that's fine. If you come to the end of it and you think that was rubbish, then no harm. You can just walk away from it. But I mean, they should be able to design you a cheat sheet in Canva. They should then be able to connect that to an opt-in form, which then takes them to your email list, which then starts to send out an email campaign to get people interested in signing up to you. They should be able to do that, and they definitely should be able to do it in 4 hours.
Nice.
So that's how I would start.
So the final thing I want to talk about you then, with you then, is can you list some of the most common tasks that people ask you? Because sometimes I could be sat here now and I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to give you these tasks to do, and then there's other tasks that you think are key that I need to give you, but I've just not even thought of it as a task. I've just thought of it as part of my day. What are like the most common tasks that you get asked, or tasks that people really should be handing over to a virtual assistant?
Okay, so specifically for personal trainers,
Yeah.
diary management.
Of when your sessions are?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on how you do it. If you're doing a lot of one-to-ones and you're letting people book in, then that should all be taken care of by your assistant. You should just be, as a personal trainer, rocking up when you're supposed to be there. You shouldn't have to be stressing about that. But then again, that goes to more behind the scenes of what's your policy. Can people cancel within 24 hours? They're all the the little bits that you need to think about. But yeah, diary management for sure. Scheduling your content on social media. Now, I always recommend, unless you're going to pay a copywriter or someone who is fucking amazing at doing it, do your own, because it's your voice, it's your business. But get your VA to schedule it.
Yeah, so you'd put it in some sort of Word doc.
Yeah.
And then they just blast it all out.
Yeah, just a Google form, Google Doc. Smash it all out on there. As you're going, as your feet, as it comes to you, you don't have to do all that nonsense of making sure you've got 3 posts a day for 7 days in advance. No, whenever you feel like it, whenever you feel like you're in the mood to write, get it all down on a sheet, which is shared with your VA. They should be checking in each night to make sure there's anything to post. That should be going out to your email list as well. So your VA should be making sure that it's going out to your email list. Things like that are the first steps, because you don't need to be doing that. That's what I would recommend you get sorted out first.
And then you link them to your Zero, or what's the other one called? your bookkeeping software and stuff like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So with the diary, then, are we getting the VA to follow up with consultations and things as well? Would you be also getting them to phone leads on your behalf and try and book them in for consultations, or would you kind of do that?
I reckon you do it. I've done it different ways, and the most successful one was with my ex when we had the personal training business. But he was a really, really incredible salesman. Like he ended up, we stopped the business because I decided to carry on doing this, and he decided to go into sales because he is ridiculous at sales. So you should be doing that. That should be your priority. So, you know, if you're offering a transformation session, like I said before, then your priority is to make sure that you've got time to call that person. I have before done it where it's come through as like they filled in a form and it's come through, and then it's been automated to let me know when the form's filled in, and I call them and say, do you want to come in for a session? And it's just takes away the personal touch, because there's a lot to be said for automation and for systemization, but you also want to be a person. You don't want everything to be so taken off your hands that you're not being seen as the business owner.
Yeah.
So if you have it that when people book in, they're emailing or they're messaging on social media, or if they're doing it like that, then get your VA to deal with it, to deal with the bookings like that. If it's that you've got like a Calendly set up or Acuity set up for your website where people are booking in packages, make sure that your VA is on top of making sure that your diary matches. That, you know, if you don't have it that it's set times every week, make sure that your VA knows that and is making sure that that's all up to date. You want someone that's got your back. That's what you want.
It almost sounds like a personal assistant, really, someone that's going to make sure everything's done for you. Yeah.
Pretty much, but they also need to know the technical side of things. Otherwise, there's no point.
Yeah. So somebody's watching this, then their head is being blown by like everything that they can outsource and stuff. How would somebody get in contact with you if they wanted to know how potentially you could work with them or help them or give them some hints and tips or something then?
Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm only on Facebook. Can't be bothered with all the rest of it. Yeah. Facebook.
You're always posting stuff from what I see as well.
I am always there. And I've got a membership actually coming at the end of the month, so come and have a look. And
Perfect.
then you can see what kind of stuff we can do, because there's in there there's everybody. Because there are VAs, but there are also people who do web stuff. There are also people who help with content, with copywriting, with branding, with, you know, there's a lot in business. I think, again, that goes back to why we started in the first place with me helping my ex. There are so many different departments in a business, but for some reason, when you get taught or you train and then you decide to go and start your own business, you're just expected to know how to do it all and how to run it all. If you were working in an office, you'd have all of these different departments. You'd have finance, you'd have IT, you'd have all these people. So yeah, make sure you find the right one.
Yeah, definitely. Like, just thinking some of these extra things now, you could be your website backups, making sure all your things are getting paid on time. Would you be giving them access to your bank so they can pay your bills and stuff on time and all that, or would that be less?
Depends how much you trust them. I mean, I wouldn't, but I would. What would I let them do financially? No, I'd just be making sure that I'd get them to make sure I've been paid.
Yeah, so just access to Stripes or
unless they've been your assistant for like years and years and years. But yeah, don't give a VA your bank details.
Perfect. So anybody wanting to find you, just head over to Facebook and search for Kellie Blondel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I'm guessing you can answer any questions or anything that go from there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on. I hope a lot of people are going to now start getting, I don't know, it's just opening their eyes up to things that they probably don't even think they could outsource or even systemize in their business to make their life easier.
Yeah. And they're not alone. They don't have to do everything on their own. PTs, when they're scaling, they think about getting another personal trainer to, you know, to sell some more time or blocks or packages or whatever, but they don't think about getting their own time back from the tasks that they shouldn't be doing, because you don't need your billable hours to be spent on setting up emails. It's just nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah. Something you said as well, which surprised me. A lot of people would be thinking they'd have to take somebody on for 10 hours a week or something, and where you said just 4 hours a month. So that's like an hour a week to get a number of tasks done.
Yeah, we get a lot done in that time. I mean, I think the smallest retainer that I will accept is 4 hours a month. People always think they you know, when they have calls, they say, oh, this can be really expensive. I think as well, because for us, we get it. So it's like, well, that's going to take 15 minutes. That's going to take 10 minutes. But for the person who doesn't know how to do it, it would take a long time. So you'll actually be amazed at how much can get done in that time.
And I'm guessing you've written the tasks down, you've approached a VA or yourself, and then you've said, you know what, this will actually take more than 2 hours or more than an hour, or so you know the VA will tell you what you can and potentially can't do in that time.
Yeah, like I know, for example, to schedule 3 posts on social media, if I was to look at your website and look at blogs you'd written, and you said to me, can you make sure that 3 posts are going on my wall, on my business page every week? I know that takes me an hour to get 3 posts scheduled. So if you wanted, for example, to not have to think about your content because you've got a ton of blogs written somewhere, you can say to your VA, there you go, there's 100 quid. Make sure that there's 3 posts on my business page every week. Done. That's it. Simple. So, yeah.
It's definitely. I think it's been quite an interesting one. We've had people come on talk about sales and lead gen and all kinds of different things, but the VA is just an interesting aspect to our business that most people don't really consider. So thanks for coming on, and
You're welcome.
Hopefully a lot of people get a lot of stuff from this.
Yeah, and they can ask as well. I won't charge them. They can come and just ask me whatever they want as well. Just slide into my DMs, which is fine.
Okay, so that was Kellie. What did you think of the interview? It was, for me, quite interesting thinking of these systems and stuff. Most of the stuff that we have already implemented in our business, but it's definitely something that I didn't know when I first started. So if you're brand new to the industry or you're just getting started, if you can implement these things now, it's not only going to make your life easier now, but it's also going to make sure or help you grow faster in future, because you can have more time to be able to focus on the stuff that you do. And if you don't want to do that stuff, like Kellie is herself, a virtual assistant, you could reach out to her, see what she can help you with or what she can offer to help systemize or automate part of your business, so you don't have to worry about it. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do click that big red button below to subscribe. That way you never miss any future episodes, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.